on Sky News Business. This is Business Class.
Hi, I'm James Wilkinson and welcome to Business Class. Today, we're in Maui in the beautiful Hawaiian Islands. And before we give you a taste of this amazing island, here's this week's travel news. In travel news this week, the CEOs of the world's leading airlines have been in Sydney for the 74th International Air Transport Association annual general meeting, and there have been a number of major announcements. Headlining the news has been a deal between Qantas and Air New Zealand, with the rival airlines set to code share on each other's domestic flights. The move will see Qantas's code added to 30 routes in New Zealand, while Air New Zealand's code will appear on 85 routes on Qantas's Australian network. The deal also includes access to 36 lounges for frequent flyers on both sides of the Tasman. Qantas CEO Alan Joyce says the move is a big win for the travelling public.
We are going to be continuing to be very fierce competitors across the board, but when it makes sense to work together to help our customers and help the customers of both airlines have a seamless, easy experience, that's something we want to do. So just a few minutes ago, we signed a joint code-sharing agreement that covers the domestic markets for each airline in our home countries. And so what that consists of is that Air New Zealand will code and put their code on 85 different routes in the Australian domestic market operated by Qantas, and Qantas will put its code on 30 domestic markets operated by Air New Zealand in their home country. So what does that mean? That means that the consumers will have a lot better travelling experience. They'll have one ticket. They'll have better connecting times of up to 2 hours, improvement in the travel time. They'll have the ability to connect bags through, the ability to earn frequent flyer points and access to the lounges.
Air New Zealand CEO Chris Luxon says the code share deal, which comes into effect from October 28, will make travel more seamless in both countries.
Today is a really exciting announcement. We are saying that yes, there is 4 million people that travel across the Tasman, connecting our two countries together. And of that, from a New Zealand perspective, we have 140,000 of those customers that do onward journeys here within Australia. And so I did it last week, actually, to catch up with Alan in Canberra. I flew Auckland, Sydney, Canberra. And under this new arrangement, I would have been able to book an Air New Zealand ticket that would have flown me across the Tasman and then obviously on a Qantas plane through this code share agreement down to Canberra. So we think it's a pretty exciting development for both of our customers. We are looking forward to welcoming Qantas customers in our lounges and onto our network across domestic New Zealand and being able to, I think, have a win-win for both organisations by having these domestic code share agreements for connecting customers.
Virgin Australia has today announced that Wi-Fi is now available on all flights to Los Angeles on the airline's Boeing 777 fleet. Virgin said international Wi-Fi has been turned on after a successful testing phase, and all 5 Boeing 777s have had the system installed. The airline also revealed today that in-flight Wi-Fi is now available on 12 Virgin Australia Boeing 737 aircraft, with 75% of the fleet set to be complete by the end of the year. In-flight Wi-Fi will then be fitted on Virgin Australia's A330 aircraft in early 2019. In the South Pacific, Fiji Airways has become the first One World Alliance Connect member. Connect is the first new membership platform unveiled by One World since the alliance was originally announced 20 years ago. One World Connect partners will provide select alliance benefits to frequent flyers from any One World member airline travelling on their flights. Benefits for business travellers include priority check-in, lounge access, and earning frequent flyer points on flights. Air Canada has become the first North American airline to operate regular scheduled flights to 3 Australian cities, following the launch on Sunday of year-round services between Melbourne and Vancouver. Flights are operated by a Boeing 787 Dreamliner, and we spoke to Air Canada's General Manager for Australia and New Zealand, Vic Norton, to find out more.
Air Canada are going through great global expansion at the moment, and we've actually grown 40% in the last 3 years. So we currently fly from Sydney to Vancouver, Brisbane to Vancouver, and now very excited that we're flying Melbourne to Vancouver as well. So we're the only North American airline to fly to 3 Australian cities. This is the longest route in our network. It's 16 hours on the inbound, so it's a long flight. and we're flying a 787 Dreamliner so the customers are as comfortable as possible. We're excited about Melbourne as well for behind Melbourne because it's a gateway for Victorians, for South Australians and Tasmanians.
Also in Melbourne, AirAsia X is set to change airports when flights move from Tullamarine to Avalon later this year. The flights to Kuala Lumpur will be the first international services to operate from Avalon. In hotel news, AccorHotels has completed its acquisition of Australia's Mantra Group for $1.2 billion. The deal includes the Mantra, Peppers, Break Free and Art Series brands, representing 138 hotels in Australia, New Zealand, Hawaii and Bali. AccorHotels will now operate over 330 hotels and resorts across Australia, New Zealand and the South Pacific, and over 900 throughout Asia Pacific. AccorHotels CEO Sebastian Bazan told Business Class today that the deal will particularly benefit executive travellers.
Well, it's a good acquisition because we're combining talents, we're combining market share, we're combining brands, we're combining clients. So clearly Accor is going to be the greatest recipient of international travelers, leisure business. So it's actually very excited, and the teams on both sides are very excited to join forces. So yeah, it's being a very nice negotiation, very nice discussions, and very much complementary.
Marriott International's popular lifestyle brand W Hotels has re-entered the Australian market following the opening of W Brisbane last Friday. W Brisbane features 312 guest rooms, including 32 suites that feature river views and the latest in-room technology. The hotel also features a restaurant, a bar, health club, pool, and meeting and event spaces. A couple of weeks ago on Business Class, we gave you an insight into how American Airlines is going after the premium travellers at LA Airport. Now let's look at their newest offering, the Flagship First dining room.
The brilliant new First dining experience. What's the experience all about?
Yeah, James, we're standing here in American's Flagship First dining at LAX, and this is that first-class dining experience for our first-class customers on selected routes, right? This is where our guests can enjoy a meal prior to boarding their flight. Full-on meal with served by a waiter at your table, right? You order off a menu, all locally sourced items, and we're very, very proud of this and have received great reviews from our guests.
As someone who specifically used to work in the lounge network for American, how does this stack up?
Oh, I think we're really kind of setting the standard now for lounges in the U.S. Right? The products we're offering, both the Admiral's Club, the Flagship Lounge, and now introducing Flagship Lounge, Flagship First dining really starts to set us apart and differentiate that level of service for those customers that are flying in first-class cabins, between here and some of our international cities, and also between here and New York, and really has allowed us to kind of start to differentiate, as I said, the product offering.
Love the local produce concept of that. How different are the meals than in the lounges?
They're all freshly prepared, right? So by our executive chefs here in the lounge, freshly prepared. But it was also important that we were sourcing local items, right? Sourcing farm to table items here, for this product.
And being sustainable too. It's a very strong message from American.
Absolutely, very, very, very strong message, and that's what this product and that offering is about.
And when it comes to food and wine, let's look at the wine side for a sec. Obviously, in these new lounges, you also have up the ante on the wine front.
Absolutely, some of the fine wines. We feature not only California wines, but some wines selected from other parts of the world.
And feedback so far?
Feedback's been incredible. Our guests that have enjoyed this experience have had rave reviews about this product and this level of product we're offering now.
Now it's time for this week's Foodie Files with Nesia Wilden.
Well, thanks, James. Not quite Hawaii, but I have been in Noosa for the annual Food and Wine Festival and to check out what's happening on the restaurant front there. It's no longer all about Hastings Street. First up, over on the river in Noosaville, Thomas Corner. It's a consistently high performer from a chef with loads of integrity, David Rayner. He may well be one of the smartest seafood chefs going around. From the new menu, hand-picked local spanner crab with pomelo and coconut, and the roasted Cone Bay barramundi with tomato and saffron broth. Now, Thomas Corner is also the first restaurant in Australia to stock Noosa scallops. They're a saucer scallop. They're every bit as good as Hervey Bay, maybe better, so look out for them on the specials board. Also in Noosaville, Noosa Waterfront. It's an imposing Italian restaurant and bar overlooking a canal and helmed by chef Andrea Ravazzani, whose background is Michelin-starred restaurants in Milan. So what you get here is an interesting and successful blend of classic and contemporary. On the one hand, there are tablecloths and a rather grand wine list. On the other, there's a very on-trend list of boutique gins and a modern sensibility to the classically Italian menu. So you might start with raw scallops with sea succulents, edible flowers, macadamia and raspberry. Move on to a perfectly executed spaghettini with Moreton Bay bugs and sausage, and wind up with a dessert of mandarin and yoghurt with olive oil, almond and celery. Or you could just do what we did and hoe into the tiramisu. One final word on service, lovely. Now, just up the road from Waterfront is Noosa Boathouse. And, well, it was rather a nice surprise. Yes, I expected it to be casual, family-friendly and accessibly priced. And it's all of those. I'm sure you could rock up here in your swimwear and no one would blink an eye. Still, what I didn't expect from Noosa Boathouse was the level of attention to quality in both food and service, especially given the menu tries to cover all the bases. Do have the bouncy barbecue local cuttlefish and the Asian chicken salad. Also consider the Harvey Bay scallops, because it's good to see you don't have to go to a high-end restaurant in Noosa to find luxe seafood done well. But the hottest restaurant in Noosa right now is in Sunshine Beach, and it's called Some Young Guys. And one of those guys just happened to be runner-up on a show called MasterChef, so predictably the place is almost impossible to get into. But before I get to the terrific food, I have to say that regrettably the attitude of the staff came squarely from the school of like it or lump it. So maybe some of that overnight success has gone to their heads. Anyway, Some Young Guys' menu is mainly Thai, and of course it's all for sharing. At least it is if you like it hot. And full credit to the chefs here for being uncompromising on the spice levels. In fact, I'm still recovering from the scuds in the chicken larb. I also loved the zingy Hiramasa kingfish and the Mooloolaba prawn toasts. Also, how refreshing it is to be in an Asian restaurant in Queensland that holds back on the sugar. So that's it from Foodie File in Noosa this week. Back to James Wilkinson in sunny Hawaii after the break.
You're watching Business Class on Sky News Business. Welcome back to Business Class.
Welcome back to Business Class, and right now we're at the Four Seasons Resort in Maui. Let's have a look inside this property that's one of the best on the planet. The Four Seasons Resort Maui at Wailea is recognised as one of the best hotels in the world. Here you'll find 383 rooms, including 75 suites, with many facing the ocean. Inside you'll find TVs with device mirroring so you can watch your own content, large bathrooms with 2 sinks plus a deep soaking bath and a shower, and a signature Four Seasons king bed or 2 queen beds. There are also several bars and restaurants at the resort, including our favourites Duo and Ferraro's. Also find the newly opened Beach Walk Cafe for a macchiato, house-made gelato or a wrap. And there's also live music in the lobby lounge every day. The Four Seasons sits on absolute beachfront in Wailea and also features several pools, including an adults-only infinity pool, which comes complete with a swim-up bar. During whale watching season, you can sit in the infinity pool with a cocktail in hand and watch the whales breach just a few hundred metres off the shore. There's also an excellent day spa, yoga classes daily, and plenty of activities for the kids. Four Seasons Resort Maui is known for its amazing location, beautiful rooms and great restaurants. Let's see what's cooking in the kitchen with Executive Chef Craig Dryhurst. Well, Chef, we're here at one of the most amazing resorts in the world, and people come here for up to a few weeks at a time every year. How do you keep them happy with food in this amazing property?
Well, I mean, for a property of our size, I mean, with multiple outlets, you've got to have plenty of options. We kind of have that through breakfast, lunch, and dinner. We have different theme nights throughout the week. For example, in Lobby Lounge, we have our sushi, more of a kind of Asian theme to our menu, a more pack rim kind of style. We do dim sum night every Saturday, Sunday. It's probably the only place in Maui to really get good, authentic Chinatown dim sum. So we do that every Saturday, Sunday, which is great for our guests. Super popular with local clientele and our hotel guests as well.
And apart from the hotels that are in the neighbourhood, like you can't just literally, guests can't just walk out the door like New York, walk down the street and go to another restaurant. So is that more of a challenge for you here, do you think?
Oh, well, absolutely. I mean, we have one of the better breakfast buffets on the island, I feel, especially on this side. It's so much choice in the morning when you want to have a really good breakfast. If you're going to go on your road trip to Hana, or you're going to go on a helicopter tour or snorkeling around Molokini. So having a good big breakfast is a perfect start to the day here in Hawaii, and everyone gets up early anyway. It's a nice bright start to the day. But for lunchtime as well, we have some great options. I mean, we have alfresco dining at Ferraro's restaurant, which is open for lunch and dinner. I mean, it's just beautiful. And if you look at the office window we're working with here, it's pretty stunning. Some of the best views in the world. So in terms of the menu, we have all sorts of options at lunchtime. We have food around the pool, 3 different pools that we have. We have a pool style menu as well. So you got the 2 options at lunchtime, which is great.
And if you look at sort of the kind of cuisine you're cooking at the moment, you're obviously doing a lot of different styles of food, aren't you?
Yeah, we have a lot of different styles. We have a steakhouse, we have Italian, we're using a lot of local ingredients. We try to capture as much as we can in our different meal periods, try to capture different cultures. I mean, Hawaii is just a melting pot of cultures and styles. There's so many different culinary aspects that are influential here in the Hawaiian Islands. We try to capture as many of those as we possibly can. I mean, the guests come here, they want a Mai Tai, they want to see the coconuts, they want to see pineapple.
Yeah, and technically it's spring here in Hawaii, but it's always generally summer here at this part of Hawaii. It feels like to me all the time. But what's in season right now? What are you loving cooking with?
I mean, the tomatoes right now are fantastic. We're coming into stone fruit season as well. Cooler strawberries as well. We'll be coming into season in mid-June. We'll be using those a lot and featuring desserts, and we'll be using them on crudos and getting creative with ahi tuna and strawberries. And I remember last year it was a lot of fun what we did. Citrus season is always in season here in our chef garden. We're growing Maya lemons and calamansis, so we're loving citrus right now. Making homemade lemonades, making different sorbets, preserving, adding those into our vinaigrettes and stuff like that. So really got a plethora of vegetables that we can use and fruits.
So tell us a bit about how you source some of the food from here as well. Not only your vegetables and fruit, but also you use sustainable fisheries and local meat places as well.
Yeah, well, we have fresh fish delivered every day. We have suppliers that go to the Oahu fish market in Honolulu and hand pick what we're looking for in terms of snapper, mahi-mahi, the ahi that we use. They hand pick to our specifications what we're looking for, and that gets delivered fresh every day to our doorstep, which is fantastic because it's such a great supply of seafood here on the islands. But we use a lot of local suppliers as well. There's a lot of suppliers up country. I mean, our tomatoes and Ferraros are specifically grown for us. The tamimi tomatoes, the vine ripes, and the cherry tomatoes, which are fantastic. I mean, they're ripened in the sun. I mean, you don't get any better than that.
You don't really get much better than that at all, do you? And if you look at how big this property is and how many different outlets you have, and I guess people are going to be trying different things every single day, but you do want to keep them happy the whole time they're here, don't you?
Yeah, for sure. And we have our, we have a beachfront cafe if you're looking for a little grab and go. We have Ferraro's lunch, which is kind of more modern European style lunch fare. It's more of a trattoria at dinner, homemade pastas, like all fresh, ragouts and risottos and truffles, and you got all that in the evening. Our steakhouse, we feature great steaks, traditional sides, kind of a more modern steakhouse dining environment. We have the lobby lounge as well. We have a club lounge. We have 24-hour room service. So there's plenty of option. We do luau's in your guest suite through room service as well. So we try to offer as much as we can.
When you first got here, when you had to go out and try and, obviously you want to keep things as local as possible. What kind of adventure did you go on to go and do that? Did you find a lot of great producers, or was it kind of hard finding some really amazing producers?
I mean, there are many producers around the island that do a lot of different fruits and vegetables. I mean, one of my favorite farmers on the island is Russ Greenleaf at Oprah Winfrey's farm, where we're using some of the radishes there on the wellness menu, and he has some great stuff that other farmers aren't growing. Vitalotte potatoes, celery root, stuff like that. So, we're really looking for unique farmers that grow great products.
There are so many activities to do in Maui year-round, from whale watching to helicopters, the town of Hana, and much more. Let's find out some of the great things to do with the Chief Concierge of the Four Seasons Resort, Sam Wilhelm. What are some of your favourite things to do on Maui here, including driving out to Hana on that beautiful road?
The road to Hana, I'm a little biased because I'm born and raised in Hana, so it's my hometown. So it is a great way to kind of step back into what it used to be like 50, 60 years ago. Not so much about the actual town, it's not about getting to Hana, it's about the journey in. So you see some beautiful waterfalls, stunning sea cliffs, just really, really beautiful panoramic. Just kind of, when people think of Hawaii, it's kind of the postcard shot of what people think Hawaii will look like when they come here.
And one of my favourite things to do here is whale watching, and you can do it from the Serenity Pool. You don't even need to leave the resort, do you?
No, you can stay right from the Serenity Pool. You can come up here to the club lounge, sit on the lanai. We have binoculars that we can give to guests as well. And they'll just camp out and look at the whales all day. They come every February. That's kind of peak time for whale season. And it's always a lot of fun to kind of see them jumping off in the distance.
And you do some very cool things here at the resort. You can organise a private luau, either on a point overlooking the beach or even in your own room, can't you?
Yes, so we can do a private luau. We have a beautiful oceanfront lawn that lends itself to a great setting for a luau. Or we've also started doing luau in your room, where our chefs prepare all the food and everything that you would have at a traditional luau. We'll bring it up, serve it to your lanai. Then of course we can always add on a musician or a hula dancer to kind of add that finishing touch to it.
And obviously one of the more fun things that you can organise for guests, is there something that really sticks out in your mind that's been one of the fun things for you to organise?
We've done a lot. I would say probably one of the funner things that I've done was arranged a proposal, but spelled out "Will you marry me?" in white coconuts on a beach. So organized a private helicopter trip. She wasn't aware it was going to be private, wasn't sure what was going on, just thought they were going out for a ride. Pilot swooped in on a deserted beach on the east side of the island and spelled out "Will you marry me?" in white coconuts, and kind of turned out into a whole big celebration. So that was a lot of fun for us to do.
Well, that's it from us in Maui. Thanks for watching, and see you next time on Business Class.